The next thing we're going to look at are the coordinates, so the actual dots that we're going to be placing onto our coordinate grid. So here's our example. We have our coordinate grid again, the same one as before, and you'll notice that we just labeled the different quadrants. So when you put your X and your Y axis in there, it makes quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Now, in these quadrants, I've already put a coordinate dot here for you and gave it a label. So this is coordinate A, and then I made a little dot here, so we're going to do coordinate B. Here's the third one. We call it coordinate C, and the fourth one we'll call it coordinate D. And with each of those coordinates, there's a pair of numbers here, okay? So these both these numbers are in brackets or parentheses, and then there's also a little comma that separates them. So that's how we're going to identify coordinates. So if you just stop for a second or pause the video and try and figure out what do these two numbers mean? It has a 4 and it has a 6 in it, okay? Because if you use those two numbers, it should bring you right to where this dot is, okay? So if you figured out that those are the numbers that go on the X and the Y axis, you're correct. So the first thing I want you to note is that the coordinates are all written with showing you the X-axis and then the Y-axis. So if we look at this coordinate here, or coordinate A, it has a 4 first. And it always goes X-axis first. So we're going to go 4 on the X-axis. So we always start at what's known as the origin. I'm going to put the origin in green here. Here's the origin right there. The origin is where the 0 is, okay? Now, we are going to, the first letter here, or sorry, the first number here says a 4. That means we're going to go on our X-axis 4. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So right now we're at the 4 and the X. The next number in this pair is a 6. So the 6 is going to go. The 6 is going to go on the Y-axis. 6 on the Y-axis. So we have to move 6 on the Y-axis, and it's a positive 6. So we got to move up to positive 6. Let's continue here. I'll use the blue. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And look at that. We made it to where that coordinate is, okay? So these numbers in your coordinate, the first one is always the X-axis. The second number is your Y-axis. That's how we move on it, okay? So let's try and move to coordinate B. So how do we get there? Well, it says -4, then 6, okay? So we're going to have to go a -4 on our X-axis. Remember, the first number here always tells us where to go on the X-axis first. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. So a -4. The next number in this coordinate here tells us to go 6, a positive 6. So then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we made it up to that coordinate there. So -4, 6. That's how we get there. Okay. The same thing in quadrant 3 here. It says to go -4 from the origin and then -6. So let's start at 0 at the origin here at 0. It goes -1, -2, -3, -4, and then it tells us to go a -6 here. So we go to the negative down to -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then our last coordinate here, coordinate D. Let's do that one. It tells us to go to 4 on the X-axis and then -6 on the Y-axis. So we're going to go from the origin 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go -6 on the Y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it gets us there. Okay. So I want to ask you guys, if we look at the origin, what would the origin be? So we had that origin right here in the middle. So we need to write it as an ordered pair, meaning they're in pairs. So we need to put the brackets to show that it's coordinates. You have to put the brackets, and the origin is 0 on the X-axis because it doesn't go side to side, and it also doesn't go up and down. So it's also Y on the it's 0 on the y-axis. So the coordinate, or the ordered pair, okay, is 0, 0 in brackets. Okay. You'll notice for these, for the coordinates, you have to put those ordered pairs in brackets, and you have to have the comma in there. That's just the universal way of showing that those are coordinates, okay? If you put it like this, 0, 0, unfortunately that's incorrect. You need to have those brackets there to show that it's in coordinates, and you need to have the comma in the middle.